Hello children, how are you? Hope good. This is Shahab Khan and I'm back with my new video on my YouTube channel Arbain Learning Way UL Way. Today I'll try and finish scene 3 of Act 5. I have my task cut out, but I'll begin by thanking Carnage333 for his wonderful comment. When I saw it, it really made up my day. Such comments, there have been some previous very good compliments. They make all the effort that I put in worth it. Thank you Carnage333 for your wonderful comment. I was wondering if it was the precision and accuracy of the comment time. It made me wonder whether it was from 007. Okay, so let's begin now. What we have studied in the previous video, we had seen how Cassius died, and Messala and Titinius, they lament his death, and Cassius called the son of Rome. The sun, metaphor sun, which has set now. So now let's begin from line number 72. Titinius, Pindarus, where art thou, Pindarus? Messala, seek him, Titinius, while I go and meet the noble Brutus, thrusting this report into his ears, I may say thrusting it. For piercing steel and darts envenomed, such shall be as welcome to the ears of Brutus as tidings of this sight. Messala and Titinius, they are searching for Pindarus, who is not to be found anywhere. He has fled away so that he does not have to face Romans again and answer uncomfortable questions. So Titinius asks Messala to go and search for Pindarus. They do not know Pindarus has left the place for good, and he says that he will go and meet Brutus and give this news to Brutus. And he says that he will be thrusting the news into Cassius's ear. Why thrusting? It's a hyperbole that has been used here. Thrusting is hyperbole here. Thrusting the news. We have a hyperbole here. What he means is that the magnitude of grief and pain that this news was going to cause to Brutus would be greater than if poisoned darts and sharpened blades were forced through his ears, were put into his ears with great force. They would obviously cause hurt and pain, but the magnitude and the amount of grief that this news would cause, and at this time, it would be much greater than even those things, poisoned darts and sharpened blades. Such was the magnitude of Such was the magnitude of the tragedy. Titinius, hi you Messala, and I'll seek for Pindarus the while. Exit Messala. Okay. Why didst thou send me forth, brave Cassius? Did I not meet thy friend, and did not they put on my brows this wreath of victory, and bid me give it thee? Didst thou not hear their shouts? Alas, thou hast misconstrued everything. But hold thee, take this garland on thy brow. Thy Brutus bid me give it thee, and I will do bidding. Brutus, come apace, and I see how he regarded Cassius. But leave God, this is Roman's part. Come, Cassius' sword, and find Titinius' heart kills himself. So, when Messala exits, we have this monologue by Titinius. Okay, this monologue by Titinius. Obviously, there's no one else around, so he's speaking. So this is a monologue. But we have another figure of speech here. Okay, and what figure of speech is that? That is an apostrophe. Okay, this is not to be confused with the apostrophe or the punctuation mark. Tom apostrophe is S. Okay, Tom's. Okay, it's not to be confused with this punctuation mark. This is an apostrophe. This apostrophe is a figure of speech where the dialogue is addressed to an audience who is not present there or who cannot respond. The apostrophe is a figure of speech which is addressed, a dialogue which is addressed to an audience who is not present there or who cannot respond. And Titinius is speaking, addressing his dialogues to Cassius. He's dead, he cannot respond. Okay, so we have apostrophe. A figure of speech where the person to whom the dialogue is addressed, cannot respond. Addressed cannot respond. Cassius was dead, he could not have responded. Respond. So Titanius asked Cassius, why did he send him? Didn't he perform the task that was assigned to him? Didn't he meet the allies? Didn't they put the victory wreath on his head? Didn't he hear the shouts? He wonders how someone like Cassius could construe all these things. Here we have a dramatic irony also. I'm sure dramatic irony, you must be aware. The Cassius' death is basically a dramatic irony. Cassius' death is basically a dramatic irony where audience knows everything what is happening, but the character does not know. His death was because of dramatic irony. Okay, so he asks, how could someone like Cassius misinterpret the whole thing? Okay, he said that Brutus had asked him to put the victory wreath on his head, and he says that he will do that, and he does that. Titanius is overcome with grief and emotion, and he, out of grief and emotion, he cries out to Brutus. Again, an apostrophe. When Titanius cries out to Brutus, Titanius cries out to Brutus. It is again an apostrophe. He cries out to Brutus, come and see. He cries out to Brutus and asks him to come and see how much Titanius loved Cassius. How much he loved Cassius. And obviously, Brutus was not present there. He could not have responded to it. Now, at this moment, Titanius was overcome with grief and emotion, and out of the love of Cassius, and also there were dangers lurking from all sides. It was a battleground. It could have come from anywhere. That army of Octavius and Antony, they could have come from anywhere, and they could have been taken. So there were dangers lurking around, and in the absence of Cassius, it would have been difficult for him to face such situations alone. The impending situation that was probably there was too tough for him, Titanius, to face it alone. And so, as a true Roman, he decides to take his life. He takes Cassius's sword and stabs himself and kills himself. Enter Brutus, young Cato. Enter Brutus, Messala, young Cato, Strato, Volumnius, and Lucilius. Brutus, where Messala doth his body lie, Messala low yonder, and Titanius mourning it. Titanius faces upward. Cato is slain. With the sounds of battle, in the background, the battle was going on. Brutus, Messala, young Cato, they all enter. Okay, and Brutus asks Messala as to where the body of Cassius was. Messala points to the place where Titanius was there, and he says that Titanius is mourning it. But Brutus notices that he was lying with his face upward, and that means there was something wrong. And Catus confirms it that he was dead. Okay. Brutus, O Julius Caesar, thou art mighty, yet thy spirit walks abroad and turns our swords in our own proper entails. What do we see here? What do we have here? It's revenge time for Caesar, the ghost of Caesar. Okay. And he's having a field day. Field day is a phrase which means to get a lot of pleasure and enjoyment out of doing something. No one else feels the effect of the ghost of Caesar was causing than Brutus himself. No one else. Well, obviously people would have felt the impact like they were losing the battle, but no one does it like Brutus does. And he acknowledges it by saying that, yes, even though Caesar is dead, but despite being dead, he is as powerful as when he was alive. And even after being dead, he is coming, that means his ghost is coming and killing people with their own swords. He's making their own swords go into their own stomachs. Two alarms, brave Titanius, look where he have not crowned dead Cassius. So Cato says, see, Titanius even put the wreath of victory on Cassius's head. Brutus, are yet two Romans living such as these, the last of all the Romans, fare they will. It is impossible that ever Rome should breed thy fellow friends. I owe more tears to this dead man than you shall see me pay. I shall find time, Cassius, I shall find time. We see Brutus paying his last tribute to the dead body to Cassius and Titinius. He called them the last of the true Romans. What does he mean by Romans here? Okay, Romans, they had many quality. Romans, they had many qualities: courage, bravery, all this thing, nobleness, nobility, all those things. Romans were supposed to have. But one quality, one defining quality of the Romans was that their honor, the preservation of their honor, was most important to them, and the preservation of honor, the honor, if it had to be protected even at the cost of death, they would do it. And like two Romans, Titinius and Cassius, they died, protecting their honor. So that is what Brutus acknowledges in these lines. He says that the last of the two Romans are gone, and he says it would be impossible. It was perhaps impossible that Romans would see such great souls be born again. That is what he meant, that now the Romans that were left, they did not have the same qualities. The Romans who were alive, they probably did not truly embody the true spirit of Romans as these people had. And so it was really a very sorrowful time. It was a great tragic time. It was time to mourn their death, but Brutus did not have the time even to mourn their death. Unfortunately, Brutus did not have the time, and he says that when he gets time, it was battle time now. He'll find time to mourn the death of Cassius. When he finds time, he will mourn the death of Cassius in a more deserving manner. Come therefore, and to Thassos send his body. His funeral shall not be in our camp, lest it discomfort us. Lucilius, come, young Cato. Let us to the field. Labio and Flavius, set our battles on. 'Tis 3 o'clock, and Romans yet at night. We shall try fortune in a second fight. Brutus says that to the people present there, that he owed more tears to these fellows than he was actually going to shed at that time, because he did not have the time at presently. So when he finds time, and he will find time later on after the battle was over, he says that he would shed more tears later on, because at this time, shedding tears had become a luxury for him. Tragedy was following like the ebb and flow of a river. One after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one. Tragedy were following. So even before he could mourn for one tragedy, another tragedy was staring straight in his face. So that kind of a situation he was in, and even shedding tears had become a luxury for him. So Brutus says that their funeral should be done in a place called Thassos. Thassos is a Greek island near Philippi. Greek island near Philippi. Okay. He asked the people to take the body of Cassius to Thassos. Thassos is a Greek island near Philippi, and why because if his body was to be cremated in the battleground, everyone on there would lose their courage. It would demoralize them. So it was at this time required. At that time, it was necessary that his body was cremated someplace away from the battleground. He asked Cato and everyone else to go and prepare for the final round of battle, because it was 3 o'clock only, and before evening falls, they were going to get engaged in a final battle, which was going to be the final battle of Brutus's life. So that's it, children. That ends scene 3 of Act 5. End scene 3, Act 5. Okay. What does Shakespeare try to do here? He tries to shift the perspective of the audience towards slight shift. Okay, slight, not a major shift, in the perspective of people towards Cassius and Brutus. Okay, see, Brutus and Cassius had conspired to kill Julius Caesar, but Julius Caesar himself was not a great soul. He may have been a great dictator, but he's not a great soul by any means of yardstick. Okay, he had used all the tricks in the trade to be in the position where he was. So he was not a great soul, and so obviously these people were in their own way justified in killing him. So he tries to make them a lesser villain. Cassius was a manipulator and had great personal motive behind killing Caesar. But here, his in the end, towards the end, the kind of love that he shows for his friend, makes him, it does not glorify him as such, but yes, it just makes him a lesser villain. In the same way, Brutus shows great courage, and his actions for the first time, perhaps for the first time, in the play are impeccable. Has been courageous, or we know that he's a noble, so he's courageous, but the kind of courage that he shows towards the end, in the face of the magnitude of the tragedy of Cassius' death, is a great, great, great tragedy. And in the wake of that tragedy, while facing that tragedy, his actions are impeccable. While facing that tragedy, his actions are impeccable. Meanwhile, in the whole drama, we have seen even when in normal situations, his actions are not impeccable. Otherwise, the whole thing would have been, the whole situation would have been different. But in the face of adversity, in the face of this tragedy of greatest magnitude, perhaps, his actions are impeccable. Okay, he does not relent fighting. He asks Cassius's body to be cremated in Thassos, and he gathers courage to get up and fight, and says that when he gets time after the fight is over, he'll pay proper respect to Cassius, the kind of respect, the kind of mourning that he receives, the kind of mourning that he deserves. Okay, so that's it, children. That is the end of scene 3, and I hope you have understood everything well. If there's any doubt, you can post it in the comment section. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and keep watching my video channel, Albanian Learning Way, UL Way. Thank you for watching this video.